Hello, guys. Very good morning to all.
Hi, good morning, Sonali.
Good morning to you. Okay, so what were we doing last yesterday? So I suppose we completed those login options in Linux.
Yes, I guess we were done till SSH, and yes, we completed that.
Yes, completed, no? Okay. Just a second, please wait. Just wait for a minute. Some issues there in my Wi-Fi. I'll be back in a minute. Okay, just for a minute, please. Sorry for the interruption. Okay, sorry guys. Is my screen available? Visible?
Yes, it
Am I
was.
audible? Okay, okay. Okay, so we have to start the GNU Linux file system. We will be learning about the file system, okay, how it is built, means what are the different components inside the file system, okay, and how to see the disk space or open space, all of these things we are going to learn today, okay. So file system is the way in which files are named, stored, retrieved, as well as updated on a storage disk or partition. The way files are organized on the disk. A file system is divided into two segments called user data and metadata. Okay, so file system is divided into two segments. One is user data and other is metadata. Okay, so file name, time it was created, modified time, its size and location in the directory, etc. Hierarchy. Okay, so here we will explain 7 ways to identify a file system type. Okay, so firstly we have this df command as I have told you. Okay, okay, so you can see the df command is showing us the file system. Okay, that what are the sections of the file system. Okay, in my system that we have tmpfs, we have daves sda3, we have tmpfs. Okay, um, on which they are mounted. Okay, then the used, okay, I am doing tf space hyphen h, so that will be more clear that how much percentage is used. Okay, so tmpfs, this was the size, this much is used, this much is available. Okay, used as 1% and mounted on run directory. Okay, so all these details about my file system are visible here. So df command reports file system disk space usage. Okay, to include the file system type on a particular disk, use the hyphen t option. Okay, so what I do is I use the hyphen t option also here. So it is telling me the type also. Next is fsck command. Fsck command is used to check and optionally repair Linux file system. Okay, to it's used for checking also and repairing also. It can also print the file system type on specified disk partition. The flag -n disables checking of file system for errors. It just shows what would be done. Okay, so if I want to see, firstly let's just write fsck command. Okay, so it is showing me that which one is mounted. Dave SDA3 is mounted. Okay, and it is being used. Okay, so I'm not saying, do you really want to continue? I don't want to continue. So it has been aborted. Okay, so it is used to check any errors in my file system. Okay, then we have this lsblk. Okay, it displays block devices. When used with -f option, it prints file system type on partitions as well. Okay, so lsblk-f. Type more. Next is mount command. Okay, and mount, just write mount and let's see what happens. So much is giving coming. Okay, pipe grep. So Dave PTS about these it is showing, but we know that which was mounted. Okay, so we can search about that part. Okay, block ID command. Okay, it is used to find or print block device properties. Simply specify the disk partition as an argument. Okay, file command you guys know already that it tells which kind of file it is. Okay, then fstab file. It is a file in etc directory. Okay, it is an etc directory file. Okay, it tells the information about mount point, file system type, mount options, etc. Okay, so we can check like that. So it is saying that blk id command would also do the same. Okay, and it is showing me some details about the file system. Okay, so it is saying that we had mounted Dave SDA during installation. Okay, UID extension 4 errors if anything during mounting. Okay, okay, so swap file, all these details we are able to see. Okay, so if we want to check about all these details, we can see in etcfs tab also. Next is file system hierarchy. Okay, so what do you mean by file system hierarchy? Okay, so whatever starts is begins the file system structure called the root. Okay, so whatever starts, we just go inside this root. Okay, and here I am able to see all the directories. Okay, so these are all maintained by the admin itself. Okay, the master is admin in this case. He maintains the files. If we as a normal user, we don't have permission to do the changes inside the file. Okay, and if we do the changes inside the file, we have to take a backup of this file firstly, then do the changes afterwards. Okay. Okay, so we have this boot. Okay, it holds the kernel image files and associated boot informations and files. Then we have this home. Contains users' home directories. Okay, then we have this sbin. Okay, it contains all the administrative level commands. Okay, and any commands used by the root user. Okay, Okay, so we have this S-bin, we have this Dave. Dave, it's all dynamically generated files. Okay, for devices. Means all the device related files are inside this Dave directory. Okay, so let's check. Okay, let's check for S-bin, let's check for Dave. Okay, so you can see all the terminal files are there inside this directory. Okay, ls-l, 5 more, I do. Okay, so you can see all the device related files: CD, ROM, console, core, CPU, disk. Okay, all these device related files are here. Port, you can see net, port, night, all of these things are there. etc, as you know, it contains already all the configuration files which are necessary in your everyday work. etc opt contains system configuration files for applications in opt. Okay, etc x11, it contains x windows system files. Then bin, it contains user essential commands and utility programs. Actually, bin and sbin. Okay, so bin and sbin, these contains the commands. Okay, suppose I'm running this calendar command, this date command, this pwd command. The programming is there inside this bin and sbin actually. Okay, sbin contains administrative level commands, whereas bin contains the user commands. Okay, so let's check. So you can see this awk command is there. Okay, all these add command is there. Okay, all these commands are there. Bash command is there, bc command is there, bluetooth command, multiple commands are there inside this. You can see the scan command is there. Okay, cancel, bzip, bunzip, bz grep, multiple commands are there. chmon, chgroup, grp, all of these command. At the top you can see top second cat command is there. Okay, so multiple commands are there. So this was for bin, same as with sbin as well. We have lib contains essential shared libraries and kernel modules. Okay, so lib contains the essential shared libraries and kernel modules. Okay, then we have opt. It holds added software applications. Okay, next we have this proc. Okay, it process directory. Okay, a memory resident directory which contains files used to provide information about the system. Then we have sys. Okay, it holds the sysfs file system for kernel objects, listing supported kernel devices and modules. Okay, we have this tmp. It holds temporary files. Okay, then we have this user. Okay, it holds those files and commands used by the system. This directory breaks down into several subdirectories. Okay, and then we have this last, which is called var. Okay, it holds files that vary, such as mailbox, FTP files, web. Okay, it contains the files that vary. Okay, so these are the different partitions inside my root directory. Okay, then we have this two kinds of major partitions in Linux system. Okay, so what are these two kinds of major partition? We have data partition and we have swap partition. Okay, so data partition is the all about the root partition. Okay, containing all the data to start up and shut down your system and the running your system, whatever it needs, it's there inside the data partition. Now, what is swap memory? Okay, actually, what happens is that when we are creating our system, okay, when we are installing it, it asks for a certain memory. Okay, maybe 5%, maybe 10%, which is reserved for extra memory space. Okay, suppose my some computer, suppose my system is full. Okay, it is goes out of memory. It goes that memory shortage is there. So you will never get pop-up messages like this, such irritating messages like this. What you will have is that you will get this extra memory for further usage. Okay, so that is known as swap memory. Okay, so that is it is written that expansion of computer's physical memory, extra memory it is on the hard disk. So most systems contain a root partition, one or more data partition, and one or more swap partition. So it is saying that most of the systems contain the root partition, okay, and one or more data partition and one or more swap partition. Okay, the system in mixed environments may contain partitions for other data, such as partition with a FAT or VFAT file system for MS Windows data. So most of the Linux system use fdisk, okay, at installation time to set the partition type. Okay, so all most of the Linux systems uses fdisk command, okay, at installation time. Okay, so on some occasions, however, you may not be so lucky. In such cases, you need to select the partition type manually and even manually do the actual partitioning. Okay, so sometimes what happens is that the systems do it automatically by themselves. Okay, and sometimes what happens is that you have to do it by yourself. Okay, so it is saying that the standard Linux partition has 82 for swap and 83 for data. Okay, apart from these two, Linux supports a variety of other file system types, such as this relatively new riser file system. Okay, GFS, NFS, FAT32, 64. Okay, then the standard root partition. The standard root partition is about 100 to 500 MB and contains system configuration files. Okay, as I told you, the standard root partition, which is around 500 MB approximately, okay, it contains the system configuration files and the most basic commands and server programs, system libraries, some temporary space. Okay, so all of these are there inside this. Okay. Okay. So swap space, as I have already told you about that, using memory or a hard disk is naturally slower than using the real memory chips of a computer. But having this little extra space is a great comfort. It is talking about the swap space. Linux generally counts on having twice the amount of physical memory in the form of swap space on the hard disk. Now this is about mounting a file system. Mounting, anybody can tell me that what is the meaning of mounting a file system? Yes, anybody can tell me what is mount and what is meaning of mounting a file system? Yes, Viraj, Ganeshram, Srinath, anybody?
I don't have any idea about this. I still have to learn this.
Okay, okay. Viraj, Gayatri, nobody?
No idea, ma'am.
Okay. Actually, mounting a file system means that we are connecting it to our system. We are mounting it so that we can use it. Okay, mounting a CD-ROM means that we are connecting it so that we can use it. Okay, that use its memory, do functions onto it. Okay, that is known as mounting. So attaching a file system on a storage device to your main directory is called mounting the device. The file system is mounted to an empty directory on the main directory tree. Okay, you can then change to that directory and access those files. If the directory does not yet exist, you have to create it. Okay. Okay. So for example, to access a file system on CD-ROM, okay, first you have to mount to the file system CD-ROM. Okay, mounting file system can normally be done as a root user. This is system administrative task. Means this is done by the system admins. Okay, and should not be usually performed by a regular user. Okay, as a root user, you can, however, make particular device like CD-ROM user mountable. In this way, any user can mount a CD-ROM. Okay, you can do the same by a floppy drive. Okay, so these are all administrative work. Okay, and what happened is that we are doing that so that we can avail that for usage. Okay, if I am mounting a directory, I am linking it to the main directory for my usage. Okay, so that I can use it. Okay, so when you install your Linux system and create the Linux partition on your hard drive, however, your system is automatically configured to mount your main file system whenever it starts. Whenever a system shuts down, they are automatically unmounted. Okay, you have the option of unmounting any file system, removing it from the directory tree, and possibly replacing it with another. Okay, so we can unmount any file system, we can replace it, we can remove it from the directory tree. Okay, so any of the function can be done by the admin itself. Okay, so once a file system is actually mounted, an entry is made by the operating system in etc ms file. Okay, let's check whether it's there or not. So this file is not there, or you can see the entries with all of these as well. So mount command shows all the currently mounted file systems. Okay, so whenever I write this mount command, it will show me all the currently mounted file system. You can see all these are currently mounted file systems. This TMPFS, this TS, TMPFS, C group. If I want information about one particle, I can just write mount hyphen T and ext4 DPTS. Okay, whatever. To through whatever information I want, I will write that. Okay. This is how to create mount a file system. Okay, so it is saying that firstly create the mount point directory. Okay, where is the location that my mount point should be created. So firstly create a mount directory. Okay, then mount the required file system. Okay, mount hyphen t, type device and the directory name. Okay, so here type can be ext4 and device can be sdavesta. Okay, so this we will take. Okay, like just tmpfs, the type is tmpfs only. Okay, dave sta3, the type is ext4. Okay, so like this we write that mount hyphen t. Okay, then dave sta3. Okay, and my type is ext4. Okay, okay, and next is how to unmount, and whatever you want to unmount, just write that. Okay, and unmount hyphen f is for forcefully unmounting it. Okay, okay guys, any problem with any part? Shall I move ahead now? Okay, I'm moving ahead. Okay, so anybody knows about DHCP? What is DHCP? Yes, anybody knows what is DHCP? Okay, so let's start. Okay, so DHCP stands for Dynamic Host Control Configuration Protocol. Okay, so what do you mean by DHCP? Okay, it is a network protocol used to configure devices which are connected to a network. Okay, so it is a network protocol, okay, which is used to configure devices which are connected to a network. These devices can communicate on that network using the Internet Protocol IP. Okay, so these devices can communicate on that network using the Internet Protocol IP. Okay, it involves client and server operating in a client server model. Okay, so it involves client and server operating in a client server model. Okay, so DHCP automatically assigns IP address and other network configuration information, subnet mask, broadcast address, etc. to computers. Okay, so the main function is it automatically assigns IP address, okay, and other information, okay, to computer on a network. Okay, so assigning the computers all these information for that DHCP is there. Okay, dynamic host configuration protocol. Okay, so the DHCP server, just wait. So the DHCP server maintains a database of all the available IP address. Okay, it contains a database of all the available IP address and configuration information. A client configured for DHCP will send out a broadcast request to the DHCP server requesting an address. Okay, so a client which is configured for DHCP, okay, it will send out okay, a broadcast request to the DHCP server requesting an address. The DHCP server will then issue a lease and assign it to that client. Okay, so the DHCP server will then issue a lease and assign it to that client. The time period of the valid lease can be specified over the server. Okay, so what is lease? Okay, it is a small amount of time that this much amount of time my uh, IP has been shared to you and you will have this much this IP and all these configuration details for this much amount of time, suppose 12 months or anything like that. Okay, the time period of the valid lease can be specified on the server. DHCP reduces amount of time required to configure clients and allow one to move a computer to various networks and be configured with the appropriate IP address, gateway, and subnet mask. Okay, so a DHCP it maintains the database firstly, okay, of IP address and configuration information. Okay, a client configured for DHCP. Suppose a client has been configured for DHCP. Okay, it will send out a broadcast request to the DHCP server requesting an address. Okay, so then the DHCP server will then issue a lease and assign it to the client. Okay, so how DHCP works? Okay, so how DHCP works? Okay, so from server to client, how these details are okay in progress. Okay, so firstly there is a lease request made. Okay, So client, okay, it sends a request to server. Okay, so please understand the steps behind it. Okay, so client it sends a request to the server with a source address, okay, and destination address. Okay, so source address is 0.0.0.0 and destination address is this. Okay, so the request includes the MAC address which is used to direct the reply. Okay, then client has given a request to DHCP and okay to server for giving me a IP address, for assigning me an IP address, a gateway, okay, all those details. So now the DHCP server replies with an IP address, subnet mask, network gateway, name of the domain, name servers, duration of the lease, and IP address of the DHCP server. Okay, so all these offer has been made by the server. Okay, and it sends out details. Okay, with IP address, subnet mask, network gateway, name of the domain, all these details. Okay, now what happens is uh, we have this lease selection. Okay, client receives offer and broadcast it to all the DHCP servers. Okay, that now client has received the offer. Now there are multiple DHCP server available. Okay, so it has to inform it to other DHCP server as well that I have got the IP address and my details which I need. Okay, so in order to make an offer, so client, so this is lease selection. Client receives offer and broadcast it to all the DHCP server that will accept to give an offer so that other DHCP server need not to make an offer. Okay. Then the DHCP server then sends an acknowledgement to the client. The client is configured to use TCP IP. Okay. Then lease renewable. When half of the lease time has expired, the client will issue a new request to the DHCP server. Okay, so like this, the process has gone on, goes on. The first is the lease request, then the lease IP lease offer, then lease selection, and then the last is lease renewal. So these are some details about I have mentioned inside here. Okay, so we have nothing to do with it, but mm, so that we should have an extra information about it. Okay. Okay, moving right now. So most Red Hat and Fedora Linux software products packages are available in the RPM format, whereas TVM and Ubuntu Linux use DEB format installation files. Okay, so Red Hat and Fedora Linux system use RPM format, whereas Debian and Ubuntu Linux use DEB format installation files. Okay, when searching for these packages, remember that the file name usually starts with software package name and is followed by a version. Okay, like this. So managing our DHCP A daemon is easy to do, but the procedure differs between Linux distributions. So here are some things to keep in mind. Firstly, different Linux distributions use different daemon management systems. Each system has its own set of commands to do similar operations. Obviously, different Linux distributions will have their own set of commands. Okay, for configuration purpose. Okay, they differ by every distribution. Secondly, the daemon name needs to be known, and in this case, the daemon is DHCPT. Okay, so in this case, the daemon is DHCPT. So how to configure DHCP? So in this dhcpd.conf file, this is there, and the details are there. Okay, for configuration. So this you can find in etc directory, or you can search that where it is. Okay. Okay, so we have this dhclient.conf. So you can see, okay, I have to type more. Okay, so this is a configuration file for DHCP client. Okay. Okay, so you can see that the request, how it is made. Okay, so all the details are there inside this alias. Okay, the some. Okay, all these details are there. You will see. So this is my etc configuration file of the DHCP client. So here also you can see all these details are there. The maximum lease time, default lease time. Okay, all these details are there. IP forwarding of make it. Okay. Next is DNS. Anybody knows about what is DNS? DNS server. Come on, guys. You might have heard the name about DNS. Nobody for DNS? Okay, guys. So we will continue from tomorrow about we will start with DNS and I will show you the FTP, how to make connection, how to send data across network, the FTP different commands. Okay. So all this we will be discussing tomorrow.
Sonali, one suggestion from my side, like
Yes.
somehow somehow can we connect to a remote Linux machine and use all these commands? I mean, FTP, this SCP, then DSCP. We can see it live. I mean, it's hard to just read from the document and understand.
So I told you no, that tomorrow I'll show you the practical of FTP.
Okay, okay,
Whatever
okay,
is possible from my side, I will make it sure. Okay, that I do
okay,
it.
okay, okay.
Okay. Thank you so much, guys. Okay.
Yeah, thanks, Sonali.
Okay.